going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 24 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the best abilities that you can be using right now on offensive linemen. There's been a big change in Madden Ultimate Team lately. We jumped up to 9 AP available on offense, and also we're seeing a lot of the skill position players, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, get a ton of 0 and 1 AP abilities, so it's starting to leave more room open for you to put abilities on your offensive line, which to me early in the year was not worth it. We're now getting to a point where I think it is, so I'm basically going to go over the entire offensive line, left tackle all the way over to right tackle, take a look at some of the best players in the game, and also just kind of go over some abilities that you can be looking for. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. It is also worth noting that Team of the Year comes out on Thursday of this week. Some of you might be watching this video after that point. It's very important right now, pre-Team of the Year. If I just said Team of the Week, my bad, but pre-Team of the Year, I would recommend not spending any money or coins right now. What we're likely going to see on Thursday is 5 new offensive linemen, left tackle over to right tackle, all at 97 overall. They'll probably be the best offensive lineman in the game, which means every other card that we mentioned, excluding this 99 overall Jason Kelce, which is a mystery right now for just about everybody in the community to obtain. But the majority of these offensive linemen we're going to cover are going to drop down in price. So really we're focusing on the abilities you should be looking for, and you can use this information for future cards that come out to kind of know what you're looking for as far as the abilities go. So let's just, again, we're in the catalog here. We're going to go straight from left tackle over to right tackle and take a look now. Right now at left tackle, the best option is going to be Andrew Whitworth, because the lighted up token on his Super Bowl card is going to give him Secure Protector for 0 AP. Secure Protector is extremely important right now because I'm sure you've all faced it. We have a ton of Unstoppable Force defensive linemen, a ton of Colossus defensive linemen, and that X Factor is lit up, and in some cases lit up for the entire game. Secure Protector is going to be your best way to neutralize it. It's not going to stop it 100% of the time, but the fact that he can get this ability, you have to have that Super Bowl pass token, the lighted up token, but the fact that he can get this ability for 0 AP makes him extremely valuable. Also, being that the Super Bowl promo is several weeks old now, you can see he's all the way down to about 300K. That's a pretty good price. Now, Andrew Whitworth also has a free card in the Field Pass for Season 5. Not obtainable yet. Down the road, a lot of you will have it. You get it at level 43 of the Field Pass. A lot of people would say this card isn't as good as the Super Bowl card, mainly because of abilities. If you look at the attributes, very good. 99 awareness, 99 run block, 98 pass block. I think his abilities are good. Now, you're not going to get Secure Protector for 0 AP, but what you can get is Identifier for 0 AP. That's going to allow you to see who your opponent is using 100% of the time. Now, I've had somebody tweet me earlier today, why is Identifier so good? Why do people care about it? I always know who my opponent is using. Good for you. That's what I'm going to say here, because there are times where you run across an opponent who switches their user or maybe disguises it. I can tell you a handful of reasons why I love Identifier. Number one, again, you know exactly where they're at. Number two, if you're running any type of RPO plays, a lot of times people try to get sneaky and use a defensive back to cover the RPO portion of it. Now you know where they're at, so you can keep the stretch or whatever run play you might be running. You can also catch people off guard. A lot of people don't know how to quick adjust in this game on defense, and what I mean by quick adjusting is like audibling or setting your cornerbacks or your safeties to do different things in coverage without actually selecting them. You can stay on the linebacker and still do that. There are people who don't know how to do that. A lot of you watching this video might not. We'll do a special video on that probably over on my gameplay channel at some point. We'll link that channel down below in the comment section as a pinned comment. But the reason I bring that up is because if they don't know how to quick adjust, they're selecting each individual defender, making an adjustment, and then going to the next player. So sometimes you can get an idea of what they're doing. Like, I've seen a lot of people select a defensive lineman to put him in his own coverage, and now I know every time that they do that, we want to run the ball that way because that defensive lineman is going to be dropping back in coverage. You can catch people off guard. If they get stuck on the wrong player, they get stuck on a defensive tackle, you can quick snap it, and now that takes away their user. So Identifier to me is good for so many different reasons. I probably forgot a few, but really important. And on this Andrew Whitworth, which is a free card, he's going to get it for 0 AP. You can still get Secure Protector. You do have to spend that 1 AP. I think this card is going to be really good, and that setup with the 1 AP Secure Protector and 0 AP Identifier would be a really, really good combination for Andrew Whitworth. I'm not going to go over every single player at every single position. These are just the abilities I want you to look for, but Garrett Bowles is another pretty good one here from the Combine promo, which will surely get more or less expensive. That didn't really make sense, but you know what I meant. Once Team of the Year comes out and we get a 97 overall left tackle, for him, he has a good setup as well. You got Secure Protector in this last bucket for 1 AP, and I believe in the second to last bucket, he gets Identifier for 0. So this is very similar to the Andrew Whitworth. The only difference is right now he's not free where Whitworth is, but currently you're not able to earn that card. One other quick thing I want to bring up with left and right tackles is Edge Protector. We're starting to see some of these players get it for 0 AP. This was really good last year because it stops Edge Threat and Edge Threat Elite. Those abilities this year just aren't that good. So when it comes down to it, Secure Protector is way better than Edge Protector. And if you can get it for 0 AP and you don't have the AP to spend on a Secure Protector, only on your tackles. Do not use this on guards or centers. You can go ahead and use it, but I just want to let you know that this ability isn't really that good this year because Edge Threat and Edge Threat Elite stink. As of right now, Quentin Nelson is definitely the best left guard in the game. And I know you're probably looking at the pricing on some of these cards and saying, Pop, they're way too expensive. I can't afford them. That's okay. I'm really trying to go over the abilities and what to look for upcoming because we're going to see more of these cards get more discounted abilities as the year goes on. One other thing you can always look for when it comes to your guards or offensive linemen in general is going to be height and weight. So for Isaac Seumalo, 6'4", 303 pounds, you want to look for a guy that's over 300 pounds for sure. But if we take a look at a guy who's less one in OVR in Tyler Smith, you're going to see, if you look at his physical attributes, 6'5", 332 pounds, sometimes that'll make a difference. So if you got a guy that's going to be less expensive, but heavier and taller on the offensive line, those are other things you can look for outside of abilities. Now let's go back over to the Quentin Nelson card here. This card is amazing for two reasons, and it's going to be both for abilities. I mean, he has great attributes here, but we're not focusing on that. So number one, in the last bucket, he has Secure Protector for 1 AP. He's got Nasty Streak for 1 AP. We'll talk about post-up Nasty Streak all day in a moment, but he has Omniscient for 2 AP. Now, what this ability does is give you Identifier, which we talked about and the powers of that, but not only does it give you that, it gives you Threat Detector as well. So this is basically two abilities in one. You got the Identifier side of it. Threat Detector allows you to see who your opponent is blitzing on 3rd and 4th down, the most crucial downs in the game. It's a great way to beat coverage and know exactly what might be on the way. If they're blitzing strong on one side, you can throw a quick pass to that side because there's going to be less defenders over there to cover it. So if you find any offensive lineman that gets this for one ability going forward, absolutely you want it. But even at 2 AP on this card, to me, is a must-have. And in his second to last bucket, he does get Secure Protector. 3 AP on a guard is a little bit much there, so you might want to stay away from that. But he also gets post-up for 0 AP. Now, post-up is going to be really good if you like to pass the ball a ton. One of the better run abilities or run blocking abilities is going to be Linchpin. He also gets this for 0 AP. And this one is good because it gives you stronger blocking from all offensive linemen. So it's almost like the offensive line version of Defensive Rally. This is why Quentin Nelson is so good. To get Linchpin or post up for 0 and Omniscient for 2, really, really good setup on this card. So we have this 99 overall career tribute, Jason Kelce, and at the time that I'm recording this, we still don't know if this card is really in packs. It's been almost 24 hours now since EA tweeted that it was out, and we went pretty much the entire night, like over an 8-hour window, where there were none of these cards on the auction house on PlayStation 5, both Xboxes, PS4, and PC. Now, a few have been popping up here and there, mostly over on Xbox. I kind of expect make rights to go out on this card, and we put out a video covering this last night. If you haven't opened up a pack in the last 24 hours, just hurry up and go open one up. Even if it's a Gold Plus player pack, they might end up giving this card to just about everybody in the community. And the reason this card is going to be so good, number one, he's probably the greatest center that has ever played football. No bias here, but maybe a little bit. Obviously, the attributes are going to be really good. he gets 2 0 AP abilities. So if you take a look in the last bucket, he's going to get Vanguard, which for 3 AP it's a very good ability, but for 3 AP too much. In this last bucket, Identifier for 0. He also gets Linchpin for 0. We just talked about what that does. And then also All Day for 0, which gives you better protection against frequent shed attempts. This is another one that's pretty much good for passing. So if you already have an Identifier, you're not going to need his 0 AP Identifier. But the reason this card is so good is because you can get Identifier and also Secure Protector. Secure Protector, we talked about it on your tackles and exactly what it does there to neutralize those Colossus and Unstoppable Force X factors. Well, on a center or even a guard, Secure Protector is going to be really good against inside stuff, and also the Unstoppable Force Warren Sapp right now from the Super Bowl promo, which is a really tough card. So this card can get Identifier plus Secure Protector for 0 AP. And then in this bucket, he still has Post Up and All Day for 0. I think you got to go Secure Protector, though, anytime you get it on an offensive lineman for 0 AP. And even at this point, because we now have 9 AP available on offense, and like I said in the intro here, there's a lot of players that are getting discounted abilities at the skill position spots. If you can find some of these cards for 1 AP or some of these abilities for 1 AP, specifically Secure Protector, you want to go with it. Now, Dexter Lawrence, prior to this Jason Kelce card coming out, was definitely the best center in the game. And again, we're kind of overdoing it here talking about Identifier. I think you get the point. But this card got Identifier for 0 AP. He also got Threat Detector for 1 AP, which is kind of what Omniscient does. It's Identifier plus Threat Detector, and he gets this for 1 AP. So you think about Threat Detector, Secure Protector for 2 is going to be a little bit too much on a center now that we've talked about all these cards getting it. Post Up is not going to be worth the 1, but he has 3 discounted ability buckets. You do have to use certain cards and upgrade tokens to access all of these, but he potentially can get Identifier for 0 and Blitz Detector, or Threat Detector, I'm sorry, for 1. So that's cheaper than the 2 AP Omniscient over on the Quentin Nelson card. Is the 96 overall Jason Kelce worth it? To me, I'm going to say no. He is missing that discounted ability bucket, or at least one of them. He still actually can get Identifier for 0. Secure Protector for 1 isn't half bad. We talked about Post Up and All Day being very good for offensive linemen if you like to pass the ball a lot. But the thing with this one is that 96s are slowly going to be outdated a little bit here, and you're spending a lot of training, like 250,000 coins worth of training for a card that's going to be B&D. Now, if you're rocking an Eagles theme team, or the Eagles are your favorite team, you know you're not going to be able to afford that 99 overall Jason Kelce. Go for it. Go get this card. It's not a bad card, but everybody else, unless you need it for theme team purposes, I would stay away from it. And then if I remember correctly, I'm kind of YOLO in this one here, but I think this weekly wild card, Josh Myers, gets a pretty good discounted ability. Let's just double check here. Yeah, he gets Secure Protector. Nope, I take it back because it's 2 AP. Maybe I was thinking of the All Day. So if you have this card, which is surely going to be down in price right now because we're seeing 96 and 97 and soon 98 overall cards, but to get All Day on this card for 0 AP, not a bad pickup for a budget option at center. One other player I want to focus on is Creed Humphrey, who I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the Team of the Year vote and gets a Team of the Year card. The reason I bring him up is because he has a lower overall AKA card. He has this playoff card, and if he gets that Team of the Year card, all of those cards are going to have this AKA X Factor, which basically boosts your offensive line. So even if he's going to be your backup center and you can use the 88 overall AKA card, this is almost a must-have card on your offensive line. Charles Cross at left tackle, by the way, is another one. Play him as a backup. These cards have motivator chems that basically boost your other offensive linemen. At right guard, we don't really have any super elite players with amazing abilities. Kevin Zeitler is the best option out there, but one ability that I haven't really focused on in kind of the difference between abilities is going to be Post Up and Nasty Streak, and we talked about All Day as well. So again, Post Up is really good for passing. Natural Talent I have pretty much never used and wouldn't care to use, especially for 1 AP. But Nasty Streak, and again, not at 2 AP, Nasty Streak is an ability that is going to be really good mostly on guards and your center if you run the ball a lot. So for 2 AP, it's not worth it. For 1 AP, if you're like a big time toter, like 75% and up as far as your run to pass ratio, go for this ability at the 1 AP. But if you start to see any players get this at a 0 AP discount, you're going to want to pick them up as well if you run the ball. We close it out at right tackle, and I didn't really notice the price difference on these two cards. So we have Andrew Wiley and we have Rob Havenstein. Wiley's actually not bad. Good attributes here, but the fact that he's more expensive than Rob Havenstein to me is kind of crazy, because when you take a look at his abilities, he does get some solid discounts. Like it's all day for 0 AP. Secure Protector for 2 is a little bit too much in my opinion. And if you go in the last bucket or second to last bucket, he does get Edge Protector for 1, which we talked about is good, but not great compared to Secure Protector. But this is something to, just pay attention to. Why is this card more expensive? And maybe some of you know over me, but why is he more expensive than Rob Havenstein when you take a look at this card for about 100K less coins? Now, you do need at least 1 elevation token to do this, but if you take a look in his third to last bucket, this Havenstein card gets Secure Protector for 0 AP, which, again, we've talked about a million times why this one is so good. You don't want to mess with Fooling Me Once or Lifeguard. And then he also gets these discounts. So you don't want to go Secure Protector and Edge Protector, but Secure Protector for 0 and All Day for 1 isn't a bad combination. And if you happen to have more of those elevation tokens or 93 overall Genki Force cards, you can unlock Post Up for 1, Natural Talent for 1 here. The third bucket's not going to be worth it. But if you want to spend some extra coin here and buy another 96 to get all the way up to this bucket, he does get Linchpin for 0. But this card is really good and was one of my top choices for a free 96 overall from this promo when it dropped, simply because you can get Secure Protector on him for 0 AP. Hypothetically, we get a 97 overall Team of the Year Lane Johnson, and Lane doesn't get Secure Protector for 0 AP. This is still going to be the better card, and that's coming from an Eagles fan. So hopefully this video helped out. Hopefully you guys kind of understood what I was talking about. But right now, it is a good time to start looking for 0 and 1 AP abilities on your offensive line, because there's room to do it, and they're going to impact the game, neutralizing some of the meta over there on defense. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.